Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider. Imagine holding a simple, ordinary-looking coin in your hand. Something so small and common that most people wouldn't even bother to pick it up if they saw it lying on the street. A 1-cent coin, often ignored, often forgotten, and yet, hidden behind its modest appearance lies a story that could completely change the way you look at money forever. Today, we dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1979 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin that at first glance seems like just another piece of pocket change, but for collectors and enthusiasts, it carries a mysterious aura, whispers of incredible value, and rumors that have sparked curiosity across the globe. The 1979 penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D mint mark found just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. This tiny letter is more than just a symbol. It tells a story of origin, a mark that distinguishes this coin from others minted in Philadelphia or San Francisco. The Denver Mint, known for producing millions upon millions of coins annually, struck these pennies as part of everyday circulation. At the time, no one could have imagined that decades later, certain versions of these coins would be discussed with astonishing figures attached to them, figures that sound almost unreal, like the claim of a value reaching up to $186 million. Now let's talk about the design, because this is where history meets artistry. On the front side of the coin, you'll find the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The portrait was created by Victor David Brenner, and it remains one of the most recognizable images in numismatics. Lincoln faces to the right, his expression calm yet thoughtful, as if reflecting on the immense challenges he faced during his presidency. Above his head, the word Liberty is inscribed, while the motto, "In God We Trust," arches along the top edge of the coin. The year, 1979, sits just to the right of Lincoln's image, accompanied by the small but significant D mint mark. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design used during that period, which features the Lincoln Memorial. This design was introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat ears design that had been in use since 1909. The Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center, a symbol of unity and remembrance. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny depiction of Lincoln's statue inside the memorial, a remarkable detail considering the small size of the coin. Above the memorial, the words, "United States of America," are inscribed with E pluribus unum just below it, and the denomination, 1 cent, at the bottom. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1979 penny has a standard weight of approximately 3.11 grams. It is composed primarily of copper, specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, as this was before the major composition change in 1982, when pennies began to be made mostly of zinc. The diameter is about 19 millimeters, and the coin has a smooth edge, lacking any ridges or reeding. These specifications might seem ordinary, but they are crucial for collectors who carefully examine coins for variations, errors, and anomalies. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Despite being produced in massive quantities, with hundreds of millions of 1979 pennies minted, certain rare variations or errors can drastically increase a coin's value. Collectors are always on the lookout for unique features such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet errors. These imperfections, which might have been seen as flaws during production, are actually what make a coin special in the world of numismatics. A slight misalignment, a faint doubling of letters, or an unusual color tone can turn an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collectible. The idea that a 1979 penny could be worth an astronomical amount like $186 million might sound unbelievable, and in most cases, such claims are often exaggerated or misunderstood. However, what fuels these rumors is the fact that rare coins have indeed sold for incredible sums in the past. Coins with unique historical significance, extreme rarity, or one-of-a-kind errors have fetched millions at auctions. This creates a sense of possibility, a feeling that maybe, just maybe, an overlooked coin in your pocket could be worth a fortune. Collectors place immense value on condition, which is graded on a scale from poor to mint state. A coin that has never been circulated, known as an uncirculated coin, retains its original luster and sharp details. These coins are significantly more valuable than those that have been worn down through years of use. For the 1979 D penny, finding one in pristine condition can already increase its value beyond its face value, but discovering one with a rare error or unique feature is where the real excitement begins. Another factor that contributes to the allure of this coin is the psychological aspect of treasure hunting. People love the idea of hidden wealth, the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary place. The 1979 D penny represents that dream perfectly. It's a coin that millions of people have handled, spent, and ignored, yet it holds the potential, however slim, to be something far more valuable than it appears. As we continue to explore deeper into the mysteries surrounding this coin, we'll uncover the truth behind its rumored value, examine real examples of rare variations, and understand what truly makes a coin worth millions. Because in the world of coin collecting, value is not just about metal or age, it's about rarity, history, condition, and the stories that each coin carries with it. As we move deeper into the story of the 1979 D 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that the true value of any coin is never determined by a single factor alone, but rather by a combination of rarity, demand, condition, and sometimes even pure chance. While millions of these pennies were produced at the Denver Mint, only a very small fraction of them hold characteristics that make collectors stop and take a second look. This is where the concept of mint errors and varieties becomes incredibly important, because these small differences are what can transform a common coin into something extraordinary. One of the most talked about possibilities with coins like the 1979 D penny is the presence of a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once with slight misalignment, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. To the untrained eye, this might look like a simple blur or shadow, but to a collector, it is a sign of uniqueness. If you examine the words Liberty or In God We Trust and notice any unusual doubling, it could indicate a valuable variation. However, true double die coins are extremely rare, and distinguishing them from machine doubling requires careful inspection, often with magnification. Another fascinating error that collectors search for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned within the press during minting, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side. The more off-center the design, the more valuable the coin can become, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. A 1979 D penny with a significant off-center strike could attract serious attention in the collector's market, sometimes selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its condition and severity. Then, there are planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck. The planchet is the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, and if something goes wrong during its preparation, the final product can have unusual features such as cracks, missing pieces, or an incorrect metal composition. Imagine finding a 1979 D penny that was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, or one that has a noticeable flaw in its structure. These types of errors are incredibly rare and highly prized by collectors because they represent a mistake that slipped through the strict quality control processes of the mint. Color and tone also play a significant role in determining value. Copper coins, like the 1979 D penny, can develop different shades over time, ranging from bright red to deep brown. Collectors often classify these coins as red, red-brown, or brown, with the bright red coins being the most desirable because they retain their original mint luster. A 1979 D penny that appears as if it was just minted yesterday, with a vibrant reddish shine, can be worth significantly more than one that is darkened due to oxidation and handling. Now, let's address the intriguing claim of a 1979 D penny being worth $186 million. This figure captures attention instantly, sparking excitement and curiosity. In reality, such a valuation is extraordinarily unlikely for a coin of this type, especially one that was produced in such large numbers. However, the world of rare coins has seen astonishing sales in the past, where unique pieces with historical significance or one-of-a-kind errors have reached prices in the millions. These examples fuel the imagination and keep the dream alive for collectors everywhere. What truly matters is understanding how market value works in the numismatic world. Coins are often graded by professional organizations, which assign them a numerical score based on their condition. A coin graded as MS65 or higher is considered to be in excellent condition, with minimal imperfections. For a 1979 D penny, achieving such a high grade can already make it desirable, especially if it also possesses a rare feature. Auctions and private sales determine the final price, driven by how much collectors are willing to pay for a specific piece. There is also the factor of historical context. The late 1970s were a time of economic change in the United States, with rising inflation and shifts in metal prices. These conditions eventually led to the change in penny composition in the early 1980s. Coins from this era, including the 1979 D penny, represent the final years of the traditional copper composition, adding another layer of interest for collectors who appreciate coins not just as currency, but as historical artifacts. Another interesting detail is how these coins circulate unnoticed for decades. Unlike rare gold or silver coins that are often preserved from the start, pennies are used in everyday transactions, passing through countless hands over the years. This makes it incredibly difficult to find high-quality examples, as most coins become worn and damaged over time. The few that remain in near-perfect condition are often those that were set aside by collectors or stored carefully, untouched by circulation. The idea that a life-changing fortune could be hiding in something as small as a penny continues to fascinate people. It's not just about the money, but about the possibility, the thrill of discovery, and the connection to history. Every 1979 D penny carries a story, from the moment it was struck at the Denver Mint to the countless journeys it has taken through pockets, wallets, and cash registers. And as we go even further into this exploration, we'll uncover more about how collectors evaluate these coins, what specific features can push their value higher, and real-world examples of coins that have surprised everyone with their unexpected worth. To truly appreciate the significance of the 1979 D penny, it's essential to understand the mindset of collectors and why they covet certain coins above others. Numismatics, the study and collection of coins, is both an art and a science. Collectors are not merely chasing money, they are seeking history, rarity, and perfection in a small, tangible object that connects them to a specific moment in time. The 1979 D penny, with its everyday appearance, seems mundane to most, but for a collector, it is a puzzle, a challenge, and sometimes a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1979 D penny is the sheer contrast between its commonness and its potential for exceptional value. Millions were minted. Over 700 million coins came out of the Denver Mint that year. But even in such high production numbers, nature and human error combined to create rare anomalies. For example, a small die crack, a minor strike error, or a slight misalignment during production could make one coin in millions stand out. It's this rarity that drives collectors' interest. People are willing to pay significant amounts for coins that are unusual because rarity adds a story, and stories in the world of numismatics are priceless. The collector's community is highly detail-oriented. Every 1979 D penny is examined under magnification, checking for subtle anomalies in the lettering, the date, the mint mark, and even the texture of the coin. Small differences like doubling on the 9 of the date, a weak strike of Lincoln's hair detail, or slight deviations in the memorial columns on the reverse side are all potential signs of a coin's uniqueness. Coins that exhibit such features are not only valuable, they become objects of intrigue and admiration among collectors worldwide. Another aspect that contributes to the coin's allure is provenance, or the history of ownership. Coins that come from a known collection, especially one with a documented pedigree, can command higher prices. For example, a 1979 D penny previously owned by a prominent collector or featured in a well-known auction can generate excitement and demand, further inflating its market value. Even if the coin's physical characteristics are identical to another, the story behind it can make it far more desirable. Now, regarding the market value of the 1979 D penny, the vast majority are worth only their face value or slightly more if they are in good condition. Most circulated pennies from this year can be found for a few cents to a few dollars if purchased from a collector or coin dealer. However, the real value emerges in extreme cases: rare error coins, uncirculated coins with perfect mint luster, or coins with exceptional historical significance. This is where rumors, like a $186 million valuation, originate. While highly improbable for a 1979 D penny, such a figure captures the imagination because it represents the ultimate collector's fantasy, a coin that transforms a mundane object into unimaginable wealth. It's also worth noting that numismatic value is subjective and often influenced by trends and market demand. The interest in specific coins can rise and fall over time depending on the popularity of a coin series, the discovery of new errors, or even viral stories of unexpected coin finds. For example, a 1979 D penny that might have been overlooked in the 1980s could suddenly become highly sought after today if collectors identify a previously unrecognized error or anomaly. This dynamic nature of the market adds an element of suspense and excitement that is unique to coin collecting. Beyond monetary value, there's also the educational and historical component. The 1979 D penny provides a snapshot of American history at a very specific moment, the late 1970s, an era marked by economic challenges, cultural shifts, and a nation on the cusp of major changes in coin production. Studying the coin allows enthusiasts to explore the technology of the Denver Mint, the evolution of coin designs, and the subtle differences between mint marks and die varieties. For many collectors, holding a penny like this is akin to holding a tiny piece of history in their hand, connecting them to decades of American life and economy. The symbolism of the coin adds another layer of fascination. Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side represents leadership, perseverance, and the values of freedom and equality, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse embodies national unity and remembrance. In this way, the 1979 D penny is more than just a coin. It is a miniature monument, a piece of art, and a carrier of cultural memory. Each scratch, each color change, and each minting error tells a story not only about the coin itself but also about the broader historical context in which it was produced. For collectors seeking to buy or sell a 1979 D penny, knowledge is essential. Professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) can authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and even identify rare features that might otherwise go unnoticed. Grading ensures trust in transactions and allows buyers to confidently invest in coins that could potentially appreciate over time. In essence, certification turns a simple penny into a verified collectible, ready for the competitive market of numismatics. Finally, the thrill of discovery cannot be underestimated. Many collectors have stories of finding valuable coins in their change, hidden in old jars, or tucked away in forgotten collections. The 1979 penny exemplifies this thrill. Most people would never suspect that a coin from their childhood could hold such intrigue, historical significance, or, in rare cases, incredible value. It's a testament to the idea that ordinary objects can harbor extraordinary secrets, and it's exactly this sense of hidden potential that makes coin collecting such a compelling hobby, capable of turning the simplest penny into a treasure beyond imagination. Let's now explore some of the real-world examples and market dynamics that illustrate why coins, like the 1979 penny, are so captivating to collectors. While most circulated examples from 1979 will only fetch a few cents, certain coins have emerged over the years with unique characteristics that command premium prices. These rare versions are typically the result of production anomalies, slight misalignments, doubling of the die, off-center strikes, or unusual color and toning. Each one tells a story, not just of the coin itself, but of the minting process, the precision machinery, and even the human oversight that allowed the anomaly to slip through quality control. Collectors hunt for these specific coins, knowing that discovering one is like uncovering a hidden gem in plain sight. One particularly interesting aspect of the 1979 penny is the role of mint errors in boosting its perceived value. Coins with doubling on the date or letters, especially on prominent inscriptions like Liberty, are highly sought after. Even subtle doubling that is difficult to detect without magnification can significantly increase a coin's market value if confirmed by a professional grading service. The thrill comes from the detective work involved, identifying subtle anomalies, comparing them to known error coins, and validating authenticity through grading. In some cases, an unassuming penny discovered in a pocket change jar or old coin collection has been revealed to be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars once authenticated, showing the enormous potential hidden in the ordinary. The composition of the coin also adds to its historical appeal. Being made primarily of 95% copper, the 1979 penny represents one of the last eras before the switch to predominantly zinc-based pennies in 1982. Collectors value these copper pennies not only for their aesthetic qualities, but also for their historical significance. Copper pennies have a distinct reddish hue when uncirculated, and the best examples retain their original mint luster decades after being struck. Coins with bright red color are particularly desirable, as they are visually striking and indicate minimal wear, a factor that greatly enhances their collectability. Another important element is provenance, or a coin's documented history. Coins that have been part of a well-known collection or sold at reputable auctions can fetch higher prices simply because their background adds credibility and prestige. For instance, if a 1979 penny were to surface from a renowned collector's estate, particularly if it possessed an error or was in exceptional uncirculated condition, it could attract significant attention in the numismatic community. Collectors are often willing to pay a premium for the assurance that the coin is authentic and has been carefully preserved. While the $186 million figure often associated with the 1979 penny is largely sensationalized, it speaks to the dreamlike appeal of coin collecting, the notion that ordinary objects can hide extraordinary value. In reality, the market value of even rare 1979 pennies typically ranges from a few dollars for circulated examples, up to hundreds or a few $1,000s for coins with errors, exceptional condition, or rarity confirmed by grading authorities. However, the speculation surrounding extreme values generates fascination and keeps collectors engaged, constantly examining, comparing, and evaluating coins for potential hidden treasures. The coin also holds educational value, offering insights into minting technology, design evolution, and historical context. Examining the coin closely, enthusiasts can appreciate the precision involved in stamping fine details like Lincoln's hair, the tiny statue in the Lincoln Memorial, or the perfectly aligned lettering of "In God We Trust." The coin becomes a teaching tool, a way to understand both artistic design and the mechanical processes behind coin production in the late 20th century. For young collectors especially, the 1979 penny can serve as an entry point into the broader world of numismatics, demonstrating how ordinary coins can be studied, categorized, and appreciated as historical artifacts. Another fascinating angle is the psychological allure of finding a coin with potential value. Imagine sifting through decades of loose change or inherited collections and discovering a coin that appears ordinary, but is actually a rare error or uncirculated gem. That moment of realization, the excitement, the rush of possibility, is a key part of why collectors are drawn to coins like the 1979 penny. It transforms a simple copper disc into a symbol of discovery, anticipation, and even hope. Every coin tells a story, and for many, the journey of uncovering that story is as valuable as the coin itself. Finally, it's important to recognize the 1979 penny not just as a collectible, but as a cultural artifact. It embodies American history, from its depiction of Abraham Lincoln to the symbol of the Lincoln Memorial. It carries the legacy of the Denver Mint, a facility that has produced billions of coins over the years while maintaining standards of precision and artistry. Even in a world dominated by digital transactions, this coin represents tangible history, a link to past generations, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest significance. Delving even further into the 1979 penny, it's worth examining why collectors and enthusiasts place such emphasis on minute details and subtle differences. Unlike gold or silver coins, which have intrinsic value due to their metal content, copper pennies derive almost all of their value from rarity, condition, and collector demand. This is why understanding grading, authentication, and the nuances of minting errors becomes crucial. A single 1979 penny could appear identical to millions of others, but if it exhibits an unusual die crack, a faint doubling, or an off-center strike, it transforms from a simple piece of currency into a highly desirable collectible. It is this blend of chance, history, and precision that makes coin collecting both a science and an art. The grading system itself plays a pivotal role in determining market value. Coins are typically graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better preservation and less wear. For example, a circulated 1979 penny may fall in the range of good G4 to very fine VF30, reflecting visible wear and loss of detail. In contrast, uncirculated coins, graded mint state MS60 to MS70, retain sharp details, full luster, and minimal blemishes. Within the uncirculated category, even the slightest differences can have dramatic effects on value. An MS65 red coin, for instance, could be worth significantly more than an MS63 coin with slightly dulled color, as collectors prize coins that appear virtually untouched from the moment they left the mint. One of the most intriguing phenomena in the 1979 penny is the so-called hidden treasure effect. This refers to the idea that within a seemingly ordinary batch of millions, a single coin may possess an extraordinary feature that went unnoticed for decades. Perhaps it was tucked away in a shoebox, hidden in an old piggy bank, or stored in a coin roll that was forgotten. When discovered, this coin can instantly become the focal point of the numismatic community. The thrill comes not just from its monetary potential but from the story it carries, a tangible link to history, and a rare example of how randomness and human oversight can produce something remarkable. Historical context further enriches the appeal of the 1979 penny. Produced during a period of economic turbulence, rising copper prices, and shifting mint policies, this penny represents more than just currency. It embodies a moment in American history. It was one of the last pennies to be made almost entirely of copper before the 1982 change to a predominantly zinc composition. This makes it a symbolic artifact of a bygone era when the United States relied on heavier, durable copper coins for everyday transactions. For collectors, possessing such a coin is akin to holding a piece of that historical narrative, a tactile reminder of the economic and cultural conditions of the late 1970s. Collectors are also fascinated by the visual artistry of the coin. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse is not only a tribute to one of America's greatest presidents, but also a masterpiece of miniature sculpture. Every detail, from the strands of Lincoln's hair to the curve of his coat, reflects the skill of Victor David Brenner, the coin's designer. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands as an architectural marvel condensed into a one-cent coin. The tiny depiction of the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial is an astonishing level of detail for a coin of such small size, a testament to both artistry and precision engineering. Coins that preserve these fine details in mint condition are particularly prized, as they allow collectors to appreciate the full intent of the original design nearly 6 decades later. The allure of the 1979 penny is also tied to the concept of rarity within commonality. While millions were minted, only a small fraction have survived in pristine condition, and an even smaller fraction display errors or unusual characteristics. This scarcity creates a hierarchy among collectors, with high-quality, rarer coins commanding the top spots. Auctions and private sales reflect this dynamic. Coins that are otherwise identical can vary dramatically in price depending on subtle differences in condition, color, or error type. This makes the market unpredictable, exciting, and often competitive, as collectors vie to acquire the most exceptional examples. Finally, beyond monetary value and rarity, the 1979 penny offers a sense of connection and nostalgia. Many collectors are drawn to coins from their childhood, coins they may have handled, saved, or spent. Discovering a 1979 penny, holding it, and examining its details can evoke memories of the past, bridging the gap between personal history and the broader sweep of American history. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry immense meaning, both emotionally and historically. For this reason, the 1979 penny continues to captivate collectors, hobbyists, and enthusiasts, embodying the perfect intersection of art, history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. As we reach the final part of our journey into the fascinating story of the 1979 penny, it's important to reflect on why this small coin continues to capture imaginations decades after it was minted. The magic of the 1979 penny lies in its dual nature. It is simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary. To most people, it is just a tiny copper disc, a cent of currency passed hand to hand countless times. Yet, to collectors and numismatists, it represents history, artistry, chance, and sometimes the tantalizing possibility of immense value. The very idea that a coin so small could potentially hold a fortune, whether through a rare error, exceptional condition, or historical significance, fuels a sense of wonder that goes far beyond its face value. Collectors today approach these coins with a level of dedication and meticulousness that borders on the obsessive. Each coin is studied under magnification, examined for subtle differences in die markings, strike quality, and color, and carefully compared to established examples. Professional grading services authenticate and assign numerical grades to ensure confidence in transactions. It is through this process that ordinary pennies are transformed into collectibles, each carrying a story, a place in history, and, in rare cases, extraordinary market value. Even the most minute feature, a faint doubling of the mint mark, a slightly off-center strike, or the brilliance of the original copper red color, can turn a simple coin into a highly prized object sought after by collectors around the globe. The 1979 penny also reminds us of the importance of perspective in valuing objects. While most of these pennies will never be worth more than their face value, the stories, the history, and the possibility of discovering a rare treasure make the hunt exciting and meaningful. It's a lesson in patience, observation, and appreciation. Something so small, so often overlooked, can carry immense significance for those willing to look closely and understand its story. The $186 million figure may be more myth than reality, but it serves as a metaphor for the endless fascination that coins like the 1979 D penny inspire, a reminder that even the smallest things can capture the imagination and, occasionally, the hard eye. In the end, the 1979 D penny is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of American history, a testament to the artistry of coin design, a challenge for collectors, and a representation of the thrill of discovery. It connects us to the past, to the hands that minted it, the hands that spin it, and the hands that preserved it through decades. Whether you are a casual collector, a history enthusiast, or someone who simply loves the thrill of hidden treasures, the story of the 1979 D penny offers a perfect example of how ordinary objects can hold extraordinary meaning. It teaches us to pay attention to the small things, to explore the details, and to never underestimate the potential lying quietly in a seemingly common coin. So next time you find a penny in your pocket or on the street, remember the 1979 D. Imagine the journeys it has taken, the hands it has passed through, and the stories it holds. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, one day, one of those pennies could be the start of an incredible discovery, a link to history, and perhaps even a life-changing treasure hidden in plain sight. That is the enduring magic of the 1979 D penny. Simple, small, and yet endlessly fascinating. This is the story of the 1979 D penny, its history, its design, its weight, its symbolism, its rarity, its place among collectors, and the extraordinary possibility of value. A humble scent that reminds us that sometimes the smallest things can carry the greatest significance. The journey of this coin is complete, but its mystery, allure, and potential continue to inspire collectors and dreamers alike.